Nobody can start a small business with $5,000, but investing in people's innovative ideas and giving them the ability to go for it, to go for it, to go for it.
We got to go over this again because apparently some people are too dense to understand what's going on. What's up, everybody? Carlton Flowers here with the Go Political channel, and we got to get back on this crazy topic of the $50,000 tax credit. Why? Because there's some really hard-headed people in the comments that don't understand the point that I was making. They also don't understand the ridiculousness of the words that came out of Kamala's mouth. So in this video, we're going to make it clear. We're going to break down exactly what she said and make it clear as to what I take issue with in the ridiculous notion that this tax credit can help people start a business. So I'm just going to jump to the actual video, and I'm going to play this, and we're going to repeat it enough times for those of you that are hard-headed and don't want to understand the simple point that I was making. So here we are, Action News anchor Brian Taft's full interview with VP Kamala Harris. Let's just play the video live and react to it. And then I'll point out the portions that don't make any sense. Here we go.
To start their small business, it used to be $5,000.
Okay, let's back up a little bit. Here we go.
A $50,000 tax deduction. To start their small business, it used to be $5,000.
Now, first of all, she said a $50,000 tax credit to start their small business. You can't start a small business on a tax credit. Now, okay, well, maybe she meant increasing this amount because you have 15 years that you could spread out your tax liability where you're writing your profits against that $50,000. And if it took you 15 years to, cover for the profits that you make, if you're going to immediately make over $50,000, you could soak up at least 50 grand of profits over the next 15 years if you wanted to, because that's the amount of time you get right now with the current $5,000 tax credit for business startups. It's not for existing people that have been in business for a long time. This is only for new startups. It's something to throw a bone to people who are starting business right now. Let's go back and listen to this again, and then you're going to hear the part that makes no sense, where Kamala exposes her ignorance. Now, here we go. Listen.
Economy plan includes giving startups a $50,000 tax deduction to start their small business. It used to be $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000.
Now, did you hear that? Let's play that again. Let me turn this up a little bit louder so those of you who are hard-headed will really hear this. I want you to hear what she said again. This is the ignorant part of her statement.
Startups, a $50,000 tax deduction to start their small business. It used to be $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000.
Okay, first of all, that is true. Nobody can start a business with $5,000. Now, when she says that, it is safe to assume that she means that you can't start a small business with $5,000 in cash. She didn't say start a business with $5,000 of tax credit. She said it right. You cannot start a business with $5,000. Now, let's continue on.
But investing in people's innovative ideas and giving them the ability to go for it.
Okay. So if you're going to invest in people's innovative ideas, what does the word invest mean? That means taking money out of your pocket, a lot of money, and giving it to this person that has this innovative idea so they can go for it. Go for it meaning having the money to start your business. Now let's play it all again. This is, of course, part of her opportunity economy. All right, let's play it again.
Communities, not to mention, really, I think the backbone of America's economy. So my opportunity economy plan includes giving startups a $50,000 tax deduction to start their small business.
So that was stupid. A $50,000 tax deduction doesn't start the business. That's a tax credit that you can write your profits against for upward of 15 years in the future. Now let's listen to the rest, and then I'm going to tell you why the notion that this idea will help people start a business is stupid. Let's continue.
It used to be $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000.
Right. Nobody can start a business with $5,000 cash.
But investing in people's innovative ideas and giving them the ability to go for it.
So on what planet do you have to live on where investment means giving someone a $50,000 tax credit? Have you ever started a business and you attract investors? Why do you attract investors? It's because you need the capital to start your business. I'm going to give you several examples, and then I'm going to explain to you in the real world what the government does to help businesses start up. And this is something that already exists. It's called the Small Business Administration. So anyway, let's continue.
Opportunity economy means, look, we don't have enough housing in America.
Okay, that's where she babbles on about her dumb housing idea. Now let's play it one more time for the hard-headed people so we can make it absolutely clear. Here we go.
Work long hours, and our neighbor helped raise us. We used to call her, I still call her, our second mother.
That's BS. I don't even believe that. But anyway.
I love our small business owners. I learned who they are from my childhood, and she was a community leader.
Okay, get to the point.
Our small businesses are so much a part of the fabric of our communities, not to mention, really, I think the backbone of America's economy. So my opportunity economy plan includes giving startups a $50,000 tax deduction. Okay,
so she said giving startups. If you own an existing business, you are not a startup. A startup means you're starting with the idea to open a new business. Now listen to it. Based on that context, startup.
To start their small business. It used to be $5,000. Nobody can start a small business with $5,000.
Exactly. It takes a lot more money to start a business. A whole lot more money. Unless you're starting a lemonade stand on your neighborhood corner with the third and fourth graders, and maybe you're going to compete with them and run them out of business. But anyway.
But investing in people's innovative ideas and giving them the ability to go for it.
So we're going to stop there. Investing in innovative ideas so that people can go for it. In other words, so you can start your business and implement your ideas. All right. Now let's talk real world examples. I have had small businesses for the past 35 years. You start an LLC for tax purposes. You file with the IRS and you tell them what type of entity you're going to be so they can know how to tax you. So when you are looking for investors to start up your business, you need capital. Cash. You can't start up a business with a tax credit because when you go to buy a business or buy the land or purchase the inventory you need to start your business, you can't pay for the land, the building, and your inventory with a tax credit. So the whole notion that this idea is going to help startups so people can go for it, so that someone can invest, so the government can invest in your innovative idea is ridiculous and absurd. Now, let's go deeper into this. When you start your business and you get your capital, you've got to go get somebody's money. It's either going to be a private investor who trusts you enough to lose their money, or you're going to go to a bank and say, hey, bank, I've got this great idea. I'm going to start a corner store and I'm going to sell flip-flops and keychains, and they're going to be the hottest, most popular keychains and flip-flops anybody has ever seen, and I'm going to need about a good $100,000 so I can get all the inventory and fill up the store to get my flip-flops and keychains manufactured, stock the shelves, and then to be able to pay employees and pay the rent for my building and pay for employees. So then the bank says, all right, what's your collateral? Because you're not going to walk into any bank and get $100,000 to start your business, and a bank hands it over without knowing that you have collateral. So what is collateral? That's the stuff that you own that you can surrender to back up the loan in case you go out of business. I had a friend who recently started a fitness business right after COVID. They purchased a building that cost $800,000. And then they needed the bank to pay for the cost of the building, in addition to $400,000 worth of improvements to the building, and another $300,000 for improvement to the lot and for all of the equipment in the building. And in order to do so, they had to write a business plan, and they had to throw up some collateral. So the house they lived in was worth $900,000. They said, we can give you the equity in our house as collateral. We can give you all the cars that we own as collateral, and our furniture and our stocks and our savings. We'll pledge all of these things to fully collateralize the loan, because 100% of the amount of that loan has to be collateralized. Now, they went out of business 3 years later. Guess what happened? There was an auction. They sold everything in the building. The company that had the loan for the equipment came and took all their equipment back. The bank sold everything that wasn't secured by a loan to get part of their money back. They couldn't get the house because they moved out of the house, sold it, took the money, filed bankruptcy. And then the building is now on the auction block. It's been taken over by the bank. All right. So when I started a business once in 2007, I bought a tool store for $110,000. So I go to the bank and they said, you need to fully collateralize the loan. And they suggested that I talk to the Small Business Administration because it would increase my chances of getting the loan. Here's how it works. I applied to the Small Business Administration. I have to write a slamming business plan, give financial statements, have good credit worthiness, and I have to show them what collateral I have. And if the Small Business Administration, SBA, thinks that my business plan is good enough and that I have an accounting firm that is going to do my accounting, they'll say, okay, we're going to back you for this loan. Now go to the bank and get through the loan process. So what the SBA does, they will cover 50% of the collateral for the loan. So instead of me having to pledge my couch, all my cars, half my kids, and all the equity in my house to fully collateralize the $110,000, the SBA says, well, hey, he's written a great business plan, and we, the SBA, the government, we're going to collateralize 50% of the loan. That doesn't mean they're giving me $55,000. It just means that they are going to take on half of the risk of the loan and cover the bank in the event that I go out of business. So instead of having to pledge all of my furniture, houses, and kids, I only had half of the amount to pledge. So I had to show on paper where I had $55,000 of collateral, which included the inventory in the existing store that I was going to buy. There was about 40 grand worth of inventory in that store, and then I had to pledge automobiles, credit the amount of equity in my house, and several other things to get to the $55,000 point, and then the SBA covered the rest. They don't give you money. So then the bank says, you're approved. Here's your $110,000. Go buy your business and make your monthly payments, which I did. Well, the Great Recession hit, and unfortunately, I went out of business. Yes, I did. And when that happened, I lost everything. I had to file for bankruptcy. And in addition to that, I owed money to the IRS for employee withholdings that I was behind on. And the bank came after me. So the SBA kicked in half of the amount of that loan that they pledged to cover, which was $55,000, and the bank came after me for the remainder, which was somewhere around $50,000, and that forced me into bankruptcy. I still owed $40,000 in other taxes to the IRS that I had to make payments on for the next 6 years. I paid it all off in full through blood, sweat, and tears, hard work. And the bankruptcy covered me for the amount that I owed the bank. Now, the bank was also in federal receivership for non-performing loans, and they went under. They got bought out by someone else, and there was several people, investors of the bank, that had deposits upwards of millions of dollars that they lost because the FDIC only covers $250,000 of deposits. Now, in addition to this, I could have been held liable for the $55,000 that the SBA fronted me. But fortunately, they did not come after me, but they had a right to. So that's what I went through with that particular business. Now, the businesses I now own, I've got one of the 5 is a body shop. I had to buy a property for $135,000, and I had to buy a lot of equipment. And so I have a mortgage, okay? And this $5,000 credit deal doesn't apply to me. But let's say I just started that body shop today. The $5,000 credit or Kamala's $50,000 tax credit for business startups would make a hill of beans difference for me. Here's why. When I start that business, if I started the body shop today and I got that $135,000 loan plus another $40,000 or $50,000 of a loan to buy all of the equipment, unless I made close to $200,000, I won't profit the first year. I'm going to be in a loss. Now, I make enough to cover operating expenses, but it's going to take years to pay off that mortgage loan. I still don't have the mortgage paid off, and I bought that business property in 2016. But if I just bought it today and I got the $50,000 tax credit, what that would do would allow me to write my profits against that credit, where I don't have to pay the corporate taxes on $50,000 of my profits. Okay, so let's say for 3 years from today, I just started. If I don't make a clear $50,000 profit the next 2 or 3 years, the $50,000 tax credit doesn't make a hill of beans difference because I'm already able to write off a loss. I'm not going to pay corporate taxes on the gains that I make because they are dwarfed by the investments. The IRS already lets me write off the investment against the income. So let's say things go really extremely well and I pay off all of my debts within 2 or 3 years, or 2 years, 1 year. Well, now I can take that $50,000 tax credit and I can use that for upwards of 15 years. So let's say it takes me 15 years to make a clear $50,000 profit over all of my overhead and allowable deductions for the business. This means that I can use the tax credit against the gains until it's all used up. And then I would have to pay whatever normal taxes that would be required. But I'm a sole proprietor LLC, which is a flow-through corporation, so I don't even need it. I won't need it until I pay myself, and then I would pay income tax. Now, you'll have to contact your accountant, a tax professional, to find out all the details about where the $50,000 credit would cover and if it would get you out of paying income taxes, because I'm not so sure that it would get you out of income taxes. But here's the bottom line. The $50,000 tax credit won't help you start a business. It's not an investment. It's a credit against future gains. So when she says out of her mouth, and you saw her said it on the video, you saw her say it with her own mouth, that she wants to invest in startups so they can go for it.
To go for it.
You can't go for it with a $50,000 tax credit. The only way you can go for it is to find an investor who invests in your business, or you go get a bank loan. So she's a little bit confused where she's using the language invest along with tax credit. So no matter how you slice it, this $50,000 tax credit, even if it was passed, the great majority of people, it won't affect. The only way that this would help anyone, besides the fact that it's not going to help you start your business, the only way you would benefit is if you started a business that had no overhead, that needed no investment capital, and you got all the widgets or whatever you're going to sell anyway, and you make $50,000 in the first year or the first 2 or 3 years. You're just raw profit. So now you can write all of your gains against that tax credit, but it did not help you start the business. So that is the real story. Now, I had a person who was commenting on my community post saying, well, I'm gonna debunk this story. There's nothing to debunk. I don't understand it. I guess some people just don't have business experience, or they're not tax professionals. They're not certified public accountants, and they don't understand these issues. Kamala obviously is an attorney and not a tax attorney. She is not a CPA, and she obviously has no experience in small business ownership. So there's nothing to debunk about this idea. She spoke out of turn. She said something that she probably regrets. And if she would go herself back and look at this video, she would probably change her wording, because she certainly didn't mean to say that this $50,000 tax credit would be an investment to help people go for it. Hopefully I've made myself clear, but I'm sure there's going to be some hard-headed people in the comments who don't understand what the heck is going on, who have zero business experience, because there's nothing to debunk here. Well, that's all I got for now. I'm just going to shut up and let this one go. And I guess if you want to chop it up in the comments, we sure can. But if you've got snarky comments, or you want to say something ridiculous like the poster on my community tab whose response to this topic was, well, if you support Trump, you're anti-Christian, anti-troop, and anti-America. If you got a comment that has nothing to do with the topic at hand, save your breath, save the keystrokes, and don't waste my time. I ain't got time for stupid stuff. But if you would like to discuss this, we certainly can. I would be glad to have you all. Now, this video probably won't get many views, so hey, it is what it is. But I'm glad to have everyone here to discuss it, whether you believe what Kamala says or not, whether you agree with this idea, think it's a good one, or think that it probably won't make a hill of beans difference. Okay, with that, I'm done. This is Carlton, and I am out.